The most important moves this offseason for Georgia Tech. Today we talk about it on the show. And what is number one? I want you guys also to engage and comment down below. The best move made this offseason by head coach Brent Key in Georgia Tech. All right, what's going on, y'all, man? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys always tapping in with me at najehwilk on all platforms. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hype up the video, man, and let me know more content you guys want to see. And join and become a member today on the channel. All right, so today we're talking about the 5 most important moves that were ranked on Georgia Tech on SI, coming in also right for. And I want to get you guys' thoughts. What move was made in this that was not that probably should have been made, obviously, for Georgia Tech? And then out of these 5, which one should definitely be number 1? Okay, so let's look at it. The 5 most important moves for Georgia Tech written by Jackson. All right, so number 5, he has hiring George Godsey as the offensive coordinator. Definitely was a big time move for Georgia Tech. Makes a big difference in the world, obviously, of course. Going from Buster Faulkner's RPO game system predicated on the quarterback, fast tempo, quick, catch the defense snapping, to a team that's going to take what the defense gives them, run a pro style system, right? More of the quarterback under the gun, running the ball more with the running backs, play action heavy type game. That is a big difference. That's definitely one I think definitely deserves to be on this list at number 5. Or Godsey being hired as offensive coordinator, because it's going to have a lot to do with the success of this team this upcoming year and how they're going to be looking moving forward. Okay, so 100% with y'all. That was a major move for them. That deserves to be on this list at number 5. At number 4, Jason Seymour hired as defensive coordinator. I would make the argument this one is too low, right? You could probably move this one up to number 3, right? Jason Seymour coming in. This is a new attack style system. This is a new defense that's going to be coming at you. This is a defense that's going to be looking to make big time plays, right? And the scheme switch from Blake Gideon is they're playing more zone. They're playing more come up, make tackles, right? There was less havoc rate. There was less making plays in the backfield. There was less interceptions. That's something Georgia Tech has struggled with. So Jason Seymour was a former coach there back, I think, in 2022, and now him coming back, learning more, being at Southern Miss, being able to do what he did there with the players. I think it's going to help them out tremendously. I think you're going to see a very different looking defense than what we've seen in years past. The big thing is replicating it throughout, right? It has to be more than just a couple of good games or a mid-season. Like, this has to sustain throughout the year. It cannot be, oh yeah, we're a good defense the first part of the year, but then the second part of the year we struggle. The second part of the year, like, we're not the same team. Like, that has to change if Georgia Tech's going to have success in 2026 and get to where they want to go. But this was definitely one of the biggest moves. Ability to create sacks, better in run defense, number 88 run defense last year. That has to improve for Georgia Tech to have a chance to take a step forward and be a much better team in 2026. Number 3, Georgia Tech investment in defensive line, right? This was an important one, right? I would actually move this one to number 2. I'll put this one 2, and then I will move Jason Seymour to 3, and then number 2 I will move to 4. But the investment in defensive line, you can make the argument even number 1. And the reason it's important because they've struggled on the defensive line, right? But they were very aggressive in who they brought in. Tim Griffin, right? Tawfiq Thomas, Vincent Carroll Jackson, right? Bringing in Noah Carter, Jordan Walker, Tajay McCoy. They're looking to really bolster this defense and have one of the better units in the ACC and maybe even in the country. And the thing was, we seen the remnants of this early on, right? We seen how good it could be in the spring game, them dominating, right? They have 4 sacks in the first half between Walker and Noah Carter, right? That's no Brady Manley. That's none of the Andre Fullers, you know what I'm saying? The Montre Bradfords, right? The Jordan Boys, none of those guys, right? It was between the transfers. So that was a good sign because now we're looking at a team that has a bunch of depth, right? Coach Kyle Pope has said it, Jess Simpson has said it. This is a very different looking defensive line than what they've had in years past, and they can go at a very high level for quite a long time, right? And that helps in games because what Georgia Tech has been hurt at is, let's say the starting 4 plays well. When they platoon swap or they bring in new guys to come in, they've missed a beat or they haven't been as good. They haven't been able to generate as much pass rush, right? They've struggled there, right? It's a drop off from the starting unit compared to the unit that comes in. I don't think that's the case anymore. So the investment of the defensive line, I would say, is number two because it's going to make a major difference for this team this upcoming year, right? And they've struggled with that mightily, and it's been a team that they have not been able to do it. So I think that's going to be very massive for them going forward. And the investment in the defensive line is going to make a major, major difference. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, Alberto Mendoza transfer from Georgia Tech. I'm going to put this at number four. Yes, this was a big move. Yes, they needed a veteran, right? Yes, he's a pretty good quarterback. The reason I put it as four is because of what number one is, right? You needed investment into your defensive line to improve it. You need to hire Jason Seymour as your defensive coordinator. Mendoza transferring is number four for me instead of number two because Mendoza, like, if this was Fernando, it'd be different. Or if this was Darian Mensah, this would be different. If this was Sam Leavitt, this would be different. If this was Lenore Sellers, this would be different. If this was, excuse me, if this was Brett Bachmeyer, this be different. The reason I bring up those quarterbacks is because not that Mendoza can't play, but coming in, Mendoza only had 25 career snaps. Like that's the reality of the situation. He had 25 career snaps over the course of his career, and there's a lot of unknowns, right? So the reason I brought those names because those are top tier quarterbacks. Those are quarterbacks when you think of you can even throw Dante Moore in there too from Oregon. Those are quarterbacks you think of the best in college football, right? Some of those, right? Now, if he was a top 10 quarterback in college football, then yes, I think this would be the number two spot, right? But the reason I say number four is because he's still a little unproven, still a little unknown in terms of the national landscape, in terms of what he can do in game like material, right? Now, he's played a little bit, but it was in pretty much bench minutes. That's what it was. This was done in bench minutes, right? So now we get to see him full course. And could he be good? Could he change the trajectory of this team? Sure. But we have to see it. And I don't think the success of Georgia Tech, which is why I put him number four, is going to rest solely on the shoulders of Alberto Mendoza. It's just not, right? More of the heavy emphasis is going to be can his defensive line, can his defense be better? That's what Seymour and that's what obviously the defensive line investment is going to matter. Those are the very important things, right? But when we look at the success of Georgia Tech, yes, Mendoza's going to have to do some things, but it's not solely predicated on him. What it is predicated on is number one, not just Justice Haynes, though. You got to throw in Malachi Hosley, too. But the reason is they're going to run the football. It doesn't matter if Alberto Mendoza's lights out. It does not matter if he is elite, right? Because the running game has to be elite. They have to be able to run the football because that's going to play into the hands of Mendoza where he can go and handle play action with the tight ends, right? That's going to be very important this year. So if the run game struggles, that's more pressure on him. Can he handle that pressure? I don't know the answer to that, but I can tell you this. If the running game is not there and it's not working, this team is not going to be as good. If Justice Haynes has a tough season to start, it's not going to be very good for Georgia Tech. If he gets hurt, that changes the trajectory of this team this year. That's just the bottom line, right? He has more of an emphasis on their success compared to Mendoza. That's just the truth, right? Mendoza can literally be a quarterback that throws for 2,500 yards and 20 touchdowns, and this team will find a way to get into a ACC championship game in Charlotte, or find a way to get into a New Year's Six bowl, or find a way to get into the college football playoff. Like he doesn't have to be this top 10 quarterback for them to be successful this year. That's just the bottom line. So that's why I don't put him number two. I will put Mendoza at four. It's still an important move for Georgia Tech, but it's not the most important. Most important was investing in the defensive line, getting a new defensive coordinator, and obviously number one, getting one of the top running backs in the nation, and Justice Haynes. It's that simple, right? Because with Justice Haynes, yeah, this running back room would have still been good, but he's kind of the cherry on top, right? He is when you go, he's at the top of the mountain. He's somebody you think of that can change the whole projection and perplexion of the team, right? I said perplexion, excuse me, complexion of the team. That's how good Haynes is. So his success is kind of dependent on his offense because there's unknowns. We don't know how good this wide receiver room is going to be this year, which plays in a part of Mendoza's success. Tight ends look to be ready, right? How good would the offensive line be, right? There's some variables in there we don't know, but this team starts and stops with the running game and how good and how special that's going to be. If it's not good, it's going to be a very, very, very long season for Georgia Tech. So they have to find success in the running game. And if Mendoza can come in, like I said, manage, do what he does, he doesn't have to be this all-time great or this all ACC caliber quarterback for them to be successful. For Haynes, he has to be for them to be successful. Malachi Hulsey has to go off this year. Right, that predicates on the success of Georgia Tech. So I will keep that 1-1. I will move Mendoza to 4. I will move the investment in defensive line, which is very important for this team. I'll put that at number 2. And then I will move Jason Seymour to number 3 and move that one to 4. The only thing I think they didn't realize in this one that should have been mentioned was Jimmy Smith. Right? Honorable mention, say what you want, but how successful the running back's going to be and Jimmy Smith being hired as the running backs coach coming over from TCU is going to be a very important move for this team this year because if he can get them to this level where you got 2 1,000-yard rushers, you could see JP Powell have a breakout, or you know what I'm saying, you see Traylon Maddox have a key role in Child Alexander. It makes a difference this upcoming year for this team. Right. So he's going to play a big role too. People don't realize, but the running backs coaching, how he uses his guys, how he subs them in and out, how he keeps Justice Haynes and Hosley and Powell and Alexander and Traylon Maddox and Shane Marshall fresh is going to be a very big determinant of their success this year. So those are the 5 important moves for Georgia Tech. I would keep number 1, Justice Haynes. I'll move defensive line 2, Seymour 3, Mendoza 4, and I will find some way to put maybe a slash with Jimmy Smith being in there as well. Because if there's no running game, this team will not be successful. Sorry. If there's no running game, this team will not be successful in 2026. That's just the bottom line. But that's my thoughts, man. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hype up the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And please comment and let me know more ideas you want to see on the channel. All right. Till next time, remember, it's always peace and love, and I'll see you guys soon.